What if the key to performing miracles lay not in grand gestures, but in small daily sacrifices? Discover how Don Bosco's selfless acts of denial unlocked extraordinary spiritual power. The Miracles and Prophecies of St. Don Bosco, a project of America Needs Fatima. I'm your host, Adrian Fonseca. Subscribe for new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Today, we'll explore Don Bosco's remarkable approach to sacrifice and how it fueled his ability to perform wonders and miracles. A couple things that stood out to me were Don Bosco's balance of physical and spiritual care, the connection between self-denial and miraculous interventions, and the parallels between Don Bosco's practices and Our Lady of Fatima's messages. And a question for you. How might incorporating small sacrifices in our daily lives open us up to God's grace? And speaking of sacrifices, those who sacrifice to make a monthly donation as a monthly promoter will receive Don Bosco's books. The link is in the description box down below to sign up now, and I'll tell you more about it later on in the video. Today's video begins in 1861. An oratory boy named Rebufo was forced to drop out of school. He was unable to keep up with his classwork because, for over a year, he had been tormented by violent headaches and stomach and liver troubles. Feeling very discouraged, he was advised by a friend to write a note to Don Bosco. Very Reverend Father, my illness seems to get worse the more medicine I take. On top of that, I am upset by having to interrupt my studies for so long. I am convinced that if you wish, you can cure me at once. Have pity on me then, if I am not worthy of such a great favor. At least comfort me, Father. Some time back I noticed you had something on your mind to tell me. Please, Father, do not keep me in suspense any longer. Tell me what you think of me clearly, and I shall be tranquil. Forgive me, dear Father, for presuming to speak to you like this, but you inspired me so to do so. For this reason, I hope you will grant my prayer. 2 days later, Don Bosco called him to his room, heard his confession, and blessed him after encouraging him to ask Dominic Savio to intercede for him from heaven. But the boy's pains did not diminish. Rather, his headaches became worse than ever. Don Bosco then suggested, tomorrow, go to school and dinner with the others, and start a novena to Dominic Savio. This time, as soon as Rebufo left Don Bosco's room, all his pain ceased. He carried out Don Bosco's suggestion and remained healthy and happy for the rest of his life. Don Bosco was grateful to God for making him an instrument of his favors to the oratory. However, when people admired him for those flashy miracles and prophecies he became known for, he often remarked, I am indifferent to either praise or blame. If people praise me, they only tell me what I should be. If they blame me, I am told what I really am. Less than a year after the complete healing of young Rebufo, we read in the diary of Father Bonetti. Of late, Don Bosco keeps speaking of this mortal life's drawbacks and heaven's beauty. He longs to go there soon, he says, and rid us of his useless presence. Though regretting that he physically cannot carry out new undertakings, he leaves it all up to God, who can find many better instruments than him. His remarks cause much talk and grief among us, as we seriously fear he may leave us soon. God save us from such a misfortune. His health is constantly poor. His doctors say he would not live long if he didn't take a walk every day. And still, Don Bosco subjected himself to the ordinary sacrifices of community life, ignoring his doctor's orders to eat healthier food. On this score, Father Bonetti writes, on the eve of a solemn feast, Don Bosco heard confessions till nearly midnight. Then, escorted by Father Fonseca and one other person, he went into the kitchen for some supper. The cook was gone, but had left Don Bosco's supper in a cold oven. The main course, vegetables, was cold, and the Ferrani soup was jellied. To my edification, he did not utter the least complaint. When Fonseca brought the soup in, Don Bosco toyed with it with his spoon and tried to eat some, but it was jelly. And he was so tired out after long hours of confession that he could not swallow it. He asked Fonseca for a glass of water. He took it, poured it into the soup, stirred it, and ate. "It isn't very hot," he remarked jokingly, "but I eat it with a wholesome intention, and it will do me just as much good." Often his food was set aside haphazardly. One evening, the waiter asked the cook to serve Don Bosco's food a little warmer, but the rude retort was, "And who's Don Bosco? He's like anybody else." Someone reported this insolent reply, but Don Bosco calmly replied, "He is right." Such utter detachment from the least comfort was an endless sacrifice that he offered God for his boy's spiritual betterment. While in the dining room with some clerics and lay members, Don Bosco spoke of the afflictions of this life. "Nothing matters," he concluded, "so long as I can go to heaven with my boys." Don Bosco's life of sacrifice and dedication to his boys' spiritual welfare is truly inspiring. Now you too can delve deeper into his wisdom and apply his teachings to your own life. Embark on a spiritual journey with St. John Bosco as your guide. By joining our monthly promoters, you'll gain exclusive access to his enlightening works, such as Roadmap to Heaven, where Don Bosco shares tactics for living a holy life, blending physical care and spiritual growth, and Sacred History, which unveils God's plan through the ages. By becoming a monthly promoter, you don't just read, you experience a mentorship with a saint. Let Don Bosco's words inspire you to embrace sacrifice, ignite your spiritual life, and navigate your journey towards divine wisdom. The link to become a monthly promoter is in the description box down below right now to sign up today. At Fatima, Our Lady revealed the key to miracles and prophecies: sacrifice. In her very first apparition to the 3 young shepherd children, she asked them a challenging question. Do you wish to offer yourselves to God, to endure all the sufferings that He may be pleased to send you, as both an act of reparation for the sins by which He is offended, and an act of supplication for the conversion of sinners? Lucia, speaking for all 3, courageously answered, yes. Do we trust Our Lady enough to make the same offering? Let's ask Don Bosco to grant us the heroic detachment from worldly things, echoing his words, "Nothing matters so long as I can go to heaven with my boys." Don Bosco's life teaches us that sacrifice strengthens the soul. Daily acts of self-denial builds virtue. True compassion cares for both the physical and spiritual needs of others. Letting go of comfort allows us to lift others closer to God. Don Bosco's devotion to the salvation of souls shines through his words, "Nothing matters so long as I can go to heaven with my boys." May we embrace this spirit, seeing sacrifice not as a burden, but as a path to holiness. But what resonated with you from today's episode? Share your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I'll be checking them out. Thank you for joining me. St. John Bosco, pray for us. May God bless you, and Mary Immaculate keep you under her mantle. God love you.